evening and good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, tomorrow is going to be a big day, a historic day in many ways, as the centuries-old dispute came to an end with the Supreme Court order a few days, and that has paved way for a new beginning for the construction of the Ram Mandir temple. And as you all know, tomorrow is the big Bhumi Pujan event, or the foundation laying ceremony. The entire city has been lit up, completely sanitized. There are security arrangements made. We have to keep in mind that this event is taking place in the midst of a pandemic. And so, while one would have imagined this event to be a mega grand one with hundreds and thousands of people present there, it's not going to be so grand, but it is still going to be extremely important. Prime Minister himself will be attending this event. In fact, tomorrow morning, Prime Minister will first fly out to Lucknow and from there head to Ayodhya. At about 11:15 is when he lands in Ayodhya. He will first be going to the Hanuman Gadi temple, which is where he will offer his prayers. At about 11:30 p.m. is when 30 a.m. is when he will reach the Janmabhoomi complex, the area where the construction will take place, where the stone foundation laying ceremony will also take place. There are only going to be 5 people part of the main ceremony on the stage, including the governor, the chief minister, RSS chief, Prime Minister Modi also present there for that ceremony. Around noon is when the main puja will take place, and through tomorrow we will be live getting you non-stop updates from Ground Zero Ayodhya. In fact, our senior news editor Mandar Fanse is already in Ayodhya, and he's been getting us a good flavor check of what's happening there, the kind of preparations, the setting, the arrangements that are on, the mood of the people, how people are gearing up. The temple town is gearing up to welcome Prime Minister Modi and every other dignitary who will be present tomorrow. So I'm going to go across to Mandar straight away and ask him to tell us about where he is, what's the atmosphere like, what's the sentiment and the ambience in Ayodhya. Mandar.
Tanvi, you can see right now this is completely enlightened in a way. The lightning, the Diya ceremony just happened, and you can see the banks of the Sharavi is in completely enchanting colors. Right now, this is what is the real visual of Ayodhya, not just here, but Tanvi, across in the arterial routes of the Ayodhya city, inside also. Everything is lit like this. Only all the small diyas are lit just like a Diwali festival. Today is almost a Diwali day in Ayodhya, and remember, lakhs and lakhs of people are participating in this Diwali festival of Ayodhya. These are all people from Ayodhya city. Nobody is from outside, because Ayodhya city is completely locked in a way. The Ayodhya city from outside entry points is also completely sealed. All the paramilitary forces and various other state police forces also are deployed heavily. Apart from that, the NSG guards and other paramilitary forces, the Rapid Action Force, everything is in place in Ayodhya right now. It is all set for tomorrow, and it's a historic event tomorrow, which will be witnessed by the whole world from Ayodhya. But of course, besides that, today the whole day, Tanvi, we have been witnessing across in the akhadas, or for that matter, even the workshop, that Karshala, which is there, where all the bricks were being brought by so many people from across India and Indian states as well. We met one troop from Tamil Nadu as well. From Rameshwaram to Ayodhya today, they reached along with their golden bricks written Jai Sri Ram on that particular brick, and the silver bricks were also there along with them. So this is what is the mood across in Ayodhya. All the dignitaries have also arrived in Ayodhya. All the invitees are also arrived in Ayodhya, and tomorrow is the day, the spectacle in Ayodhya, which will be witnessed by all of us at the Janmabhoomi, where the stone laying ceremony will happen. Remember, from Monday morning 8 o'clock, the Bhumi Pujan has already started. It's a 3-day Bhumi Pujan ceremony and rituals which is happening in Ayodhya at the Janmabhoomi. These the various Indian rivers, the holy rivers, water is also brought for this particular Bhumi Pujan. Not just that, from various forts from Maharashtra, or for that matter, every historic place which matters to the ethos of Indian culture, all those soil from those places and various other things have been brought to Ayodhya. Apart from that, of course, various leaders like Uma Bharti have also arrived here. RSS chief Mr. Mohan Bhagwat is also here now. Bhayaji Joshi is also here, who is the Sarkaryawah of Ayodhya RSS. So, of course, every other leader who matters to this movement is here now. And remember, the spearheading person of this particular movement, Mr. Lal Krishna Advani, is not going to be here because of his age at the backdrop of the corona pandemic. But considering the overall situation over here, the concern about the corona pandemic and the social distancing is still lurking here. Most of the times we have seen through the day or yesterday also, people are not really taking that much of care which otherwise we see in the other part of the country. So this is the situation, jubilation in a way in Ayodhya. Tanvi.
Yes, Mandar, and while I'll ask you to ask the video journalist to show us more visuals, it's so scenic, so beautiful, the way it's been done up, where you are right now. Also tell us, what are the kind of conversations the locals are happening over there, having over there, Mandar. The fact that this is finally happening, although outsiders won't be coming in large numbers, is there a lot of conversation about COVID, or it's more about the history and more about how we've reached this point, the excitement about how the temple is going to look? What are people of the temple town talking about, Mandar?
Yes, of course, we can see right now first the visuals, the pretty visuals over here. This is the Sharayu Bank, and at the Sharayu banks, these are the backdrop of this particular enchanting visual is of all those mix of various mandis, and the palace structure, the old palace structure is there. So there are n number of other mandis included into this particular palace structure as well. Not just that, a few tombs behind are there in the palace structure, which is basically a mosque also is there behind that particular structure. So it's a very beautiful kind of a confluence of cultures as well over the 5 centuries. Remember, this is a 5-century old controversy and 70 years old legal tangle which has come to an end, and at the instance of the Supreme Court, this mandir is being built now. Of course, from police to various leaders of the akhadas, various saints from the akhadas whom we met through the day, today and yesterday, they were really happy. Of course, a few specific people like Nirmohi Akhada head, they were having certain concerns, but at that backdrop, they were also talking about Mr. Ansari, who used to be the opponent in a way for them for so many years, almost 70 years they were fighting with him, and he is being invited, and the Nirmohi Akhada head is not invited. So there is a long list of people who have contributed to this movement and they are not invited. Those people are also expressing their dissatisfaction about all these things. They are saying that almost VHP, BJP, RSS, they have hijacked this particular movement. Beyond that, of course, everybody is really happy and they want to get into that kind of a jubilation and don't want to really basically sound that kind of a discordant note at this particular juncture. They were insisting that this is the moment of jubilation for whatever reasons, in whichever way this has happened. Almost a few saints whom we met in some akhadas, they were in tears talking about this. They were emotionally bound with all these years, almost 4 decades, especially socio-politically. The whole region was completely in a whirlwind scenario since last 4 decades, from Mandal to Kamandal, all the politics we have witnessed in last 4 decades, and in those 4 decades, this politics has reached to the zenith of, in a way, success to their own agenda. And now, tomorrow is the day when it will be very, very specially celebrated. But of course, at the backdrop of Corona, people are showing restraint away from outside the Ayodhya. If we go on the boundary of the Ayodhya, outside Ayodhya, there are people who want to come inside Ayodhya for tomorrow at least, but they are not able to come. And they are over there itself, they are requesting, they are standing there, they are having their own cars or buses over there. And those people have been told not to come inside just to avoid the crowding. Otherwise, this place could have been even more crowded than today.
Okay, and Mandar, so from where you are, which is at the Saryu Ghat, how far is the exact place where the foundation ceremony will take place? What are the kind of arrangements that have been made for that specific location?
Of course, I will just tell you the kind of map of this particular city, Ayodhya. This is the outskirts of the Ayodhya. This is the Sharayu Par, and at the bank of this Sharayu River, if we go straight from this particular line, from behind these palatial structures, it is around 2 kilometers, exactly 2.5 kilometers away from this place. There is a structure of Ram Janmabhoomi, and that's where basically tomorrow's function will happen. Nobody is really allowed there, no media, and only special invitees are allowed in that particular place. NSG has taken over that place also, so it's very difficult to go in that place. This is the place, from exact this place, behind that area, behind those minarets and those particular structures, which are palatial structures, behind that almost 2 kilometers. This is where the Ram Janmabhoomi is actually will be witnessing tomorrow the function of stone laying. Apart from that, the Bhumi Pujan is already happening there from across India, and 135 saints have been called for that particular Bhumi Pujan. Ton by ton, it's a continuous ritual for almost since yesterday, 8 o'clock in the morning till tomorrow. So the whole city itself is involved into this particular ceremony. And right now, if we enter inside the Ayodhya city, again you will see the same kind of visuals over there inside the city also. Each and every household in Ayodhya today is celebrating this day. Tanvi.
Yeah. All right, Mandar Fanse, thanks so much for bringing us all of that color and flavor from ground zero from Ayodhya. And of course, you will be joining us tomorrow, and through the day we will keep coming to you for live updates. Thanks for being with us right now. Mandar Fanse, they're reporting from the Saryu Ghat in Ayodhya. Let's quickly go across to our panelists and say good evening to Anila Singh, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Supriya Srinath, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party, Ghanshyam Tiwari of the Samajwadi Party, Ashutosh, Senior Journalist, and Raghav Awasthi, a lawyer, joining us this evening. Let me actually begin with Ashutosh in this. Ashutosh, what we wanted to primarily discuss in the backdrop of what's happening in Ayodhya and today in the country is how politics and the political scenario has always been very closely, deeply linked with the Ayodhya movement, straight from the mid-80s, if not earlier. But do you think that kind of identity politics that we saw in the 80s and the 90s is still relevant or core to our Indian system now?
See, Tanvi, I think the two things which is very important today, which we have to understand, and we have to understand with a deep perspective. The first point is, I think the old order has crumbled, and now the new order is emerging out. And the old order has its own finer points and own architecture. Now the new order which is emerging, it also has its own structures. So with the beginning of the construction of Ram Temple, now it is reinforced that the Hindutva as an ideology, which at one point of time was called as the communal politics, now it has taken over, and now it is the hegemonic politics. So in that sense, the paradigm shift has completely taken place, and this paradigm is based on the identities And in fact, the identity politics has never disappeared from India. Whether you take it the caste politics, whether you take the religion politics, or the regional politics, or the linguistic politics, all kinds of identity politics has been there. But over encompassing all the identities, I think BJP and the RSS has succeeded in terms of creating a Hindutva identity, and it is this Hindutva identity which is going to be celebrated tomorrow, and there cannot be a bigger event for them than this one. But this is also the time for the introspection for the old guards who were responsible for the old order. The fact is, why this the liberal politics has completely disappeared, why the secularism has become a bad word, why they have ignored the nationalism per se, and why today when we look at where are these leaders of opposition, and in fact Priyanka Gandhi has no other option than to chant Ram, and he's talking about Ram, he's talking about all the Mahimas of Ram. But there was a time when they didn't used to talk about Ram, and I still remember when even in fact Narasimha Rao has written in his own book that for me people have been blaming me that because of me the Muslims, the constituency of the Congress party has completely isolated itself. But today, if they are talking about Ram, they are talking about Hanuman Chalisa, they are going from one temple to another temple. That itself shows that the Congress has realized, and other opposition leaders has also realized, that they have been taken over by an ideology which at one point of time was on the margin, but now it has become the mainstream.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's very interesting what you're saying, and what was primarily for a long time BJP is a sole propriety. Other parties seem to be appropriating a lot more. Does that mean that we've moved on from that as the core to newer fault lines and newer points of debates and ideologies? Then that becomes the other question. So let's break that down, and what Ashutosh has said to set this conversation rolling. Supriya Srinath, would you agree with what Ashutosh is saying? The comment made by Priyanka Gandhi was very interesting, where she herself said that this is a sign of unity in our country. How do we read what the Congress party stand is on the construction of Ram Temple?
I usually agree with 90% of what Ashutosh says. Today, I will respectfully disagree with the statement that he made about Priyanka Gandhi having no other option but to chant Ram. Let me be honest here. Ram doesn't belong to one sect, one religion, one group. There is a reason why he is called the supreme god in India. There is a reason why Ram is in our cultural and spiritual ethos. There is a reason why Lord Rama is worshipped right from the north to the south, from the east to the west. He is called the cultural god. He is the spiritual god. He is the absolute symbol of unity. He is the absolute symbol of sacrifice. He is the absolute symbol of service. And she has only reiterated a position of herself and the Congress party. Now, to say that we are being opportunistic is a little too harsh. I will only say that there are various lies propagated. There is this various narrative that has been set for the last 6 years in this country. And I think there is no monopoly that any sect or any particular individual or group has over Lord Ram. Lord Ram is not just a god who's who we worship. He is a form and ethos of what India is all about. You cannot do away from that. And I think Ms. Gandhi, to be frank, has said that he inspires, he encapsulates the dharma, and he is called the Madhyada Purushottam. In fact, I think she has brilliantly described Lord Ram that nobody else has so far. She's talking about Lord Ram, who belongs to Shabri, to Sugriv, to Raidas, to Kabir Das. She's talking about how Ram was encapsulated even by Mahatma Gandhi, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. Sabko Sanmati De Bhagwan. I mean, Waris Ali Shah, when he says Rabhi Ram.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Did Lord Ram exist? Did Lord Ram exist? Is he a historical figure? Would you deny it today?
I am talking. I'm still talking.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Talking.
1 minute. Raghav, hang on. Just be patient for a few more seconds. Raghav, be patient for a few more seconds.
I am sorry.
I
Sir.
know you've come on the show after a really long time, Raghav Avasthi. I know you've come on the show after a really long time, Raghav Avasthi, but I'm sure you remember the rules of engagement on urban debate. I am not going to allow this. I am not going to allow this, Raghav Avasthi. I am not going to allow this. You cannot go on and on. You have forgotten the rules of engagement on urban debate. Do not force me to put your audio down. I am not going to have any yelling on this show at all. No. Can I just hear what Supriya Sreen has to say and let her finish her point, and then Raghav Avasthi will get his chance. Supriya, please.
Tanvi, with all due respect, the reason why I even agreed to come on Mirror Now was I thought this mudslinging and shouting and yelling will not help. If this is how the debate is going to go on, I don't think I can participate. I mean, this man has to wait for his turn. He can say whatever he wants to once I finish. And as far as his statement, and a very fictitious statement about fiction is concerned, I may actually turn around and ask him, your cultural minister, Mahesh Sharma, said Sita Maiya is a matter of faith. What was he trying to imply there? So please don't spread nonsense, please don't spread lies, and at least don't intervene when other people are talking. Have some basic courtesy for television debates.
Yes. Okay. Raghav Avasthi, do you want to now come in and make your point? It's been a while since you've been on Mirror Now. Let me remind you that rules of engagement don't change. Yeah.
Please, don't sully Lord Ram's good name after denying his existence before the Supreme Court. Today, everybody knows what sorry state the Congress has been reduced to, and Lord Ram's Bhavya temple will be built tomorrow. You guys should stuff that in your cigar and smoke it.
What sort of a language is this, if I may?
Okay, I'm not going to have that kind of language here on the show. Raghav, this is my last warning to you. If this is the way you're going to conduct yourself, I really don't think we are going to have a conversation anymore on this show with you. So please, take your words back. Let's have a civil, polite debate. You seem to have forgotten where you are. This is Mirror Now. Now, think about it. I'm going to give you time. Think about this. This is not the kind of language I'm going to accept here on this channel, on my show. That's plain and simple. No amount of yelling is going to happen. Anila Singh, to you, respond to what the Congress party is saying. Lord Ram isn't anybody's propriety, but do you agree that there is a change in tone of the Congress party? Not just Congress, several other political parties, including the Aam Aadmi Party, who don't want to take on BJP on this issue anymore.
You're absolutely correct, Tanvi. You know, recently since the verdict of Supreme Court has come, I have seen the change of attitude of several political parties, per se Congress and Samajwadi Party especially. And for once, I think Supriya has said very rightly that about the tweet of Priyanka Vadra, that it is a rant. You know, what she wrote, Saralta Sahas, Sanyam Tyag, Vachanbadhata, Deen Bandhu Ram, Naam Ka Saar hai. I don't know who has written this tweet for her, because I'm pretty sure that she cannot announce these words or pronounce these words properly in one breath. So we very well know that what type of conduct Congress party has towards Shri Ram. But as Supriya says, or some of the political leaders of Congress party says, and Samajwadi or other political parties who were the biggest hindrances in Ram Mandir construction, now they have started ranting. Arey Ram to sabke hain, bilkul hain, sabke hain. But the thing is, what you were doing earlier, we know it very well. The time and again, the senior leaders of Congress party, they have stood like wall on the way of construction of Bhagwan Shri Ram. But I'm pretty sure, Tanvi, that today Ma Kaushalya and Dashrath, they must be so happy that finally the day has come. This day, like 5th August 2020 and even 5th August 2019, will be known as the day of Dharam ki Vijay Adharm pe. So definitely it is going to be celebrated. We are celebrating today. Okay, we are going to celebrate tomorrow. Finally, in the words of Vivekanand, like Tanvi, please allow me. So because, you know, whenever we talk about Ram, like he is a role model of perfect moral and social behavior. Have we seen such behavior from Congress? Yes, we do very proudly say that since 1989, this has been in our political agenda, construction of Bhagwan Shri Ram Mandir. Can Congress say that? Can Samajwadi Party say that? Can any other political party say that? No. Bhagwan Sri Ram, in the words of Vivekanand ji, is the embodiment of truth, of morality, ideal son, ideal husband, and above all, the ideal king. And not even a single quality these political parties has. So I am very proud of my leadership. I'm very proud of my political party because very boldly and very strongly we have struggled all throughout, and this battle of 500 years have been won, and we are celebrating this day today. Tomorrow is a historic day for Hindus.
Okay. I don't think any political party by that logic, by your definition, will then classify. None in my opinion. But let me bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari on this. Ghanshyam Tiwari, would you agree that this is a big win for the BJP, and right now the other parties are struggling to own the narrative or be part of it in some or the other way?
Well, Tanvi, the scenes that you show, your cameraman shows, these are scenes of celebration and joy for every household in Ayodhya, and it shows that everyone in Ayodhya and across the country are for this celebration of Bhumi Pujan tomorrow, of building the Bhavya Ram temple. As far as the political narrative of this is concerned, Anila ji herself just said that they became part of this movement since 1989, not in its 300, 400, 500 years that BJP talks about in various political debates. So they became a part of this movement when it became politically opportunistic to them. To that extent, I do not deny them the space, not deny them the potential of furthering their political mission with respect to the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. What I do see a parallel headline running is the court will furnish evidence to prove innocence. This is the headline in the newspapers today. Who's saying that? Lal Krish Advani ji is saying that. Murli Manohar Joshi ji is saying that. One of the person, the same article says that one person, Om Prakash Pandey, being told by the police as absconders, and his property is being taken over. So BJP is in itself a bind, a conflict, where they do not want to appropriate this movement to Advani ji and Murli Manohar Joshi ji, who have led this movement. They continue to be presented as criminals in front of the court, and they are still trying to prove their evidence innocence, even though BJP is ready to disown them, but not their movement. As far as other opposition parties are concerned, it is clear we faced this movement with two clear mandates. One, it is the power of our democracy and the courts that has to decide the road ahead. Second, that politics in India has to be based on what is required for the common man, and which is fighting COVID situation right now, be it in Uttar Pradesh or any other part of the country, which is fighting the economic situation, fighting the jobs. So we will continue to build our belief that people of India want to live in harmony, togetherness with their faith, while focusing on a better prospect of life emerging from jobs, healthcare, and the overall economy. So we are not worried about how BJP wants to portray it. The fact of the matter is, state after state, BJP is coming across as a party who's not interested in governance. It is visible in how they are handling COVID. I do believe that now that the party has lost its plot in governance, they will focus more and more in presenting the political potential of this movement.
Okay, Anila Singh wants to respond and then Supriya, but Anila Singh first. Yes.
All right, Ghanshyam Tiwari, for you. Jaki rahi bhavna jaisi, Prabhu Murat dekhi tin jaisi. Just now you mentioned that Anila Singh ji has just admitted that Bharatiya Janata Party stood in this battle of getting Ram Mandir constructed since 1989. So let me tell you here, dear, that since 1989, this has been in our political manifesto, election manifesto. So we have throughout promised that yes, we want Mandir to be constructed. As I challenged you and Supriya, that can your political parties, can they say, yes, we have mentioned this thing, we have stood with this struggle? No, you cannot. And Ghanshyam Tiwari ji, who can forget 30th October 1990 and 2nd November 1990, and not to mention 6th December 1992. Like your political party, when it was in power in Uttar Pradesh, and when the scene of 30th October and 2nd November 1990 happened, you got so many Kar Sevak skills. Today you are sitting here and preaching and you're telling that what Bharatiya Janata Party is. Kar Sevaks who were Karyakartas of Bharatiya Janata Party, even they lost their lives So I, as a Bharatiya Janata Party Karyakarta, stand here very proudly that yes, I belong to one political party who has always stood with this struggle. And as I mentioned, and again I'm going to say that 5th August 2020 is going to be historic day.
Okay. So there is no denying the fact that this has been BJP's agenda for the past 30 years, one of their biggest poll promises, which is now coming to fruition and being delivered as a reality. No other party fought for it or stood for this, Supriya, like the BJP did.
You know, to first respond to Anila Singh, don't sit on your high horses or your pulpits there and announce that क्लिष्ट हिंदी बोलना सिर्फ आपकी जागीर नहीं है और सिर्फ आपका हक नहीं है. और ये सुन लीजिए कि क्लिष्ट हिंदी बोलना बहुत लोगों को आता है. So stop demeaning people by sitting in your high pulpit before a television camera and propagating to the world कि आपको हिंदी बोलना आता है, बहुत लोगों को हिंदी बोलना आता है, मुझसे मुकाबला कर लीजिएगा, हार जाइएगा, प्रियंका गांधी को तो भूल जाइए.
चुनौती देती हूं सुप्रिया नेत्रे, जहां खड़ी हो बुला लेना. और
मेरा नाम सुप्रिया श्रीनेत्र नहीं है, सुप्रिया श्रीनेत्र
होगा, जो भी आपका नाम हो. मुझे ज्यादा जानकारी नहीं है आपके नाम के विषय में, परंतु जिस मंच पर आप चाहती हैं उस मंच पर मैं उपस्थित रहूंगी.
कैमरा पर बैठकर
चुनौती देती हूं, जिस भाषा में भी आप मेरे साथ वाद विवाद करना चाहती हैं, चाहे हिंदी हो, चाहे अंग्रेजी हो, चाहे पंजाबी हो, आपको मैं पस्त करके रख दूंगी. यहाँ पे आप अपनी नेता की मुकदमाबाजी ना करें. आप बताएं,
आप चुप रहिए. अब आप बोल
ओके. ये अनिला सिंह वर्सेस सुप्रिया श्रीनेत्र नहीं है डिबेट. चलिए, पॉइंट हो गया, डिस्कस हो गया. कोई और दिन हिंदी पे डिबेट कर लेंगे. यस सुप्रिया, फिनिश योर पॉइंट.
I am just making a very simple point that the fact is that nobody in the BJP, or for that matter the spokesperson sitting here, does understand Hinduism or the ethos of India. That is what Lord Ram stands for. They divide. That is exactly what they've been doing. Lord Ram, when we talk about unity, is a symbol of national unity. And that is what tomorrow should stand for. That's a very simple point that I think every Indian is celebrating today. We need to stand for national unity and brotherhood. That's what Lord Ram stood for, and which is why somebody like Waris Ali Shah says, Rabhi Ram hai. When will the BJP understand things like these? They never will, because that's never in their ethos, that's never on their agenda. That is not the principle that they have. Their principle is ladao, bhidao, sarkar banao. That's all that they have done. That's all that they continue to do. And as far as my good friend Ghanshyam Tiwari talked about other things which are important, economy and all of that, a very gentle reminder to the BJP कि जिस राम राज्य की आप बात करते हैं वहां पर दैहिक दैविक भौतिक तापा राम राज नहीं काहू व्यापा. Look around and see the pain and misery. Lord Ram will answer the question for you and nobody else will.
So what is the response of Congress Party and Priyanka Gandhi to Asaduddin Owaisi, who says, I'm glad they are not pretending anymore? Yes, I'm coming to you next, Raghav. Just a follow-up question with Supriya. What's the response to Owaisi when he says, glad that the Congress isn't pretending anymore, that the Gandhis aren't, and if they want to embrace this extreme Hindutva, why all this hollow talk about brotherhood?
Just like we don't want a certificate on our religion and Hinduism and secularism from the BJP, Mr. Owaisi can keep his words to himself and go distribute it at places where it's in fashion. Maybe Ms. Anila Singh will be happy to share some of that.
Okay, Raghav Awasthi, make your point, and then I have a question for Ashutosh. Yes, Raghav.
It was a very short point that I wanted to make now. Supriya Srinath ji is extolling the virtues of Lord Ram. Can she say today that she denies whatever was said in the affidavit filed by UPA 1 before the Honorable Supreme Court, which was that Lord Ram did not exist as a historical figure? She should tell us if that was the Congress party's official position also then, and whether it has changed now. Because it is very easy to talk about Lord Ram now that the temple Shilanyas is going to be held tomorrow. But these hypocrisies have to be called out. The then Congress Prime Minister, that's Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, had said that the Babri Masjid has to be rebuilt. She should also tell us whether the Congress party still holds on to that position. And what is it that has changed since then and now, which has led to and if at all there is a change, what is it that has led to the change in position? Because the fact is only this. The whole country, the entire Hindu majority of this country wanted the Ram temple to be built in Ayodhya. because there was a historical wrong that was done. It is very easy to talk about brotherhood and secularism now, but the fact is that the atrocities that were perpetrated during Mughal rule and by people like Babar and Mir Baqi have no parallel in history. The atrocities committed in Nazi Germany would pale in comparison. The Congress party's politics is based on denial of those
Okay, let me
atrocities
get
and
a
appeasement.
response.
And this has been called out, and this is why Supriya
Let me get a
Srinathji, I
response.
think, came 5th or 6th when she contested the last Lok Sabha election. I am
Well,
really happy that this introspection is happening in the Congress now.
Yes,
And they
Supriya
are now
Srinath.
coming to realize, they are now seeking refuge in Lord Ram, but they should also seek an apology from not only Lord Ram, but from the people of this country as a political party for having denied his existence. There can be no more egregious crime than denying the existence
Okay,
of
okay,
Lord
Raghav,
Ram.
before we forget
and
what
more than
your
a
original question
revere
was,
as God.
before we
They should
forget
tell us-
what your
she
original
should tell
question
me
was,
she
let's get a
agrees
response.
with the
Yes,
affidavit or
Supriya.
not. Yes or no?
I just have one thing to say. I wasn't expecting anything better from Mr. Awasthi to talk about where my tally was. Very good. That's what you are capable of. Go and contest an election to begin with. But anyways, to come back to the point that he's making, I can
Election
also...
from a party which is
Please
a party of losers led by Christians. Why would I do that? Tell me. Give me
Keep
one
quiet.
good reason why I would do that. I
That
have
is
much
why
more interesting things to do in Delhi, like going to the gym or attending boxing class.
Can
Thank
he
you
keep
very
quiet?
much.
Very
Than to
good. So
lose
now
an election.
keep quiet, because you have no idea of democracy and you have no idea of Hinduism. To say that it is a party led by Christians tells
I
me
have a
your
better idea of Hinduism than you. That's why I don't deny. I'm not in a party
Okay,
that
okay,
denies the
okay.
existence of
One
Lord
at a
Ram.
time, please.
I would
Just
much
Supriya
rather
Srinath
die
now.
a
Let
painful
her
death
respond.
than be
Raghav,
part of a
show
party
the
led by
courtesy.
Christians who deny the
Show
existence
the
of Lord Ram.
courtesy and the
Thanks for your time.
values that you and the organization that you back stand for. Show some courtesy and show the values that you stand for now. Yes,
I don't
Supriya.
think many people on this panel will even be able to spell the word courtesy. But to Mr. Awasthi's point, I have a counter question. Why till last year, till as early as last year, why did the BJP government in Rajya Sabha, and no other than the culture minister than Mr. Mahesh Sharma, said, you know, the Sita ji was a matter of faith? Why did he say that? And why did the BJP stick to that stand always? They have not changed it on the statute. That's exactly what it states, that it is a matter of faith. We do not know what her birthplace was. We do not know anything about the Swayamvar. Why did the government say that? And why did the government not reject it? And to the larger point that you are making, I just think I don't want to engage in a debate with somebody who refers to people as Christians and Muslims and Hindus. I think we're all Indians. Let us understand the ethos of Hinduism first. जब आपको हिंदुइज्म समझ में आ जाएगा तब बाकियों पर वो करिएगा, क्योंकि आपको हिंदुइज्म का बेसिक टेनेट नहीं समझ में आता है, ना विवाह का, ना शादी का, ना भगवान का, तो उसमें रहने दीजिए. I don't want to engage with people who refer to people with their religion. As simple as that.
Okay. Can I now please, to all our panelists, move on to the second part of this conversation? Move on to the second part. Let's look forward. Let's talk about what from here on. Will this continue? Will this kind of politics or identity politics continue to be an overarching theme in our setup, or have we already moved on? Ashutosh, have issues like nationalism already replaced the kind of Hindutva and the kind of identity politics that we spoke about in the 90s?
See, Tanvi, I think even the BJP and the RSS, the parent organization of the BJP, RSS, doesn't believe into the nationalism. The Manmohan Vaidya recently has written an article where he said that nationalism is a foreign concept. It's a discredited concept. He said Bharat should believe into the Rashtriyata, and that's why he said कि राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ का में नेशनलिज्म नहीं है बल्कि राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ वो अपने आप को कहते हैं. So I think the BJP sooner or later will move away from the nationalism, and they will find some other form of this Rashtriyata, whatever they want to say. But I think it's very disturbing that the person who say that we believe in the Ram and is the way he or she is talking in such a tone. I think it is not somebody who believes into the Ram, somebody who believes in the cult of Ram, somebody who believes the Ram is a god, somebody who believes the Bhagwan. If Bhagwan Ram is a Vinayshilta, Bhagwan Ram is Satya, Bhagwan Ram is talking about the political morality. But where is the political morality? Those upholders of the political morality, today I don't see anybody who has been spearheading the movement who has been spearheading the movement, the Lal Krishna Advani, the Murli Manohar Joshi, the Vinay Katiyar, the Sadhvi Ritambra, the Uma Bharti, where are they? They are not on the, even the Mohan Bhagwat apparently did not spearhead the movement. It was somebody else who was spearheading the movement. But unfortunately or fortunately, those are the people not seen. I have never seen Yogi Adityanath taking part into their movement. I have never seen Anandiben Patel taking part in the movement. I have never seen Mohan Bhagwat spearheading the movement. I have never seen Mr. Narendra Modi, even in fact becoming the Prime Minister in the last 6 years, he had never been to Ayodhya. He had never made a statement about this, and he was only a part of the Gujarat side of the Rath Yatra. That's all. So today, I wanted to see Mr. Lal Krishna Advani there because he is the real Hindu Hriday Samrat. It is, if anybody should be given credit for the Ram movement, it is Lal Krishna Advani. At that point of time, Murli Manohar Joshi was the president. Uma Bharti was the firebrand leader. Vinay Katiyar was the firebrand leader. These are the people who spearheaded the movement, but today they are not there. So where is the political morality? Who is trying to usurp their contribution into their movement? Somebody should answer the questions.
Anila Singh, what political morality are you talking about, Ashutosh, when you don't even, give prominence and credit to actually the ones who led this movement that's being delivered today with the Ram Temple?
Tanvi, to the best of my knowledge, I think Bharatiya Janata Party senior leadership, they have not hired Mr. Ashutosh as their advocate. I don't know why he is sitting here and advocating for them. So they are our family and we know it very well, and what we have to do and how we have to do, who has to go and who has not to go. Mr. Ashutosh, that is not your problem. So please, there are several other problems on which you can concentrate. Leave Bharatiya Janata Party alone. And you were talking about nationalism. So let me tell you, Mr. Ashutosh and Ms. Supriya as well, because, Congress Party, the workers or the leaders, they are frustrated souls in today's day. They're so frustrated, like they make such bizarre statements. They keep on challenging people. Like one leader, he is going to say such dirty things about 5th of August, and the other leader, he will say, मैं 5 चांदी की ईंटें जो हूँ वो दान करूंगा. I mean, such a confused party.
So something comical, Anila.
Allow me.
Something comical now.
Nationalism means
मार्गदर्शन मंडल की बात कर रहे थे तो उसका जवाब दीजिए.
Fight for your country, and I think so. RSS has always maintained that. But let me ask you one thing: you are preaching about the political morality here. So who you are advocating? Okay. Congress, Samajwadi Party, or what? Let me tell you one thing. Let's
you have another
okay. Just give me 1 more second. पराजित राष्ट्र जब तक पराजित नहीं हो जाता है, जब तक वो अपनी संस्कृति को और अपने धर्म को बचा कर रखता है. परंतु कांग्रेस पार्टी ने क्या किया? 1947 के बाद भी इस राष्ट्र को जाति और धर्म में खंड किया है, और इसीलिए इसकी पराजय का कारण रहा है. सुप्रिया, जाकर अपने नेताओं को कुछ पाठ पढ़ा दो, शायद कुछ सद्बुद्धि आ जाए. मुझे
आपसे कोई फायदा नहीं होगा.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी knows very well.
Anila Singh.
And the ethos of Hinduism is equality. Has Congress done ever that? Congress was always divided India on the lines of caste, religion, then Amiri Garibi.
Anila Singh, you've still not answered the question. You've still not answered the question, Anila Singh. You've still not answered the question. The ones who led the movement, the ones who literally, no, your answer was a personal jibe to Ashutosh. But there are many who are asking this question: why are these people not present? Why are these people not being given prominence by your party? If you don't want to, either you don't want to share credit, or you don't want to bring them in prominence, or you believe that your politics today is very different from what they did back then, there has to be an explanation.
Our politics is excellent, and do you think that a political party
Tanvi, can I come in?
Which
I'd also like to comment.
On our Indian culture, on our Hindu culture, we breathe Hindutva, that party is not going to give due respect to the seniors. Do you think so?
Okay.
I mean, Congress party, we know it very well that what they have done with Lal Bahadur Shastri, what they have done with Narasimha Rao. I can give you n number of leaders how they have behaved with them.
Come in?
And what Sonia Gandhi did.
Tanvi, can I come in?
So I do not want to get into this.
Comments on my party.
Again, it's a very festive day for me.
Okay. Yes. Two people want to make comments.
I'm going to
Two
Like
people
many
may
years
want to
ago.
make comments. First,
quickly.
Supriya and then Ashutosh. Yes, Supriya and then Ashutosh.
Tanvi, given the fact that Anila Singh almost sounded comical there when she was talking about giving due respect to seniors, she's forgotten that the moment Mr. Modi was elected, very senior members of the party, Mr. Joshi, Mr. Yashwant Sinha, Arun Shauri, and all of these people, including Mr. Advani, the patron saint of Mr. Joshi, were all put in a Margdarshak Mandal as if they were brain dead and they were never consulted on anything. So maybe she's forgotten that. There's partial amnesia. I have a very small point of view to make here. अनिला जी, मुझे आपकी थोड़ी सी सलाह देनी है कि आपने दोनों अध्यक्षों की, पूर्व अध्यक्ष की और नड्डा जी की फोटो लगाई हुई है. मोदी जी की फोटो आपके चेहरे से छुप रही है, थोड़ा ऊपर या
नहीं,
नीचे
छुप रही है. आंखें खोलिए, आंखें चक्षु
आप
खोलिए.
बिल्कुल नहीं
नहीं
है,
रहे.
छुप जाती है. सही नहीं रहेगा आपके लिए. थोड़ा और योगी जी की भी लगाइए, आप तो यूपी से आती है. योगी जी
Okay,
को भी.
all right.
चलिए, आपको मैं अपनी सलाहकार रख लेती हूँ. कांग्रेस पार्टी को कोई काम तो है नहीं. अब आप ना प्रवक्ता के साथ साथ मेरी सलाहकार भी बन जाइए, थोड़ा काम मिल जाएगा आपको.
भाई आप बड़ों की बातें कर रही थी.
चलिए ठीक है. चलिए ठीक है. Let's not get personal. I say it again and again. I think the point that comes out of these conversations is where is the political morality? Yes, Ashutosh, go ahead, please.
See, Tanvi, I think Anila Singh is little live in the BJP. I'm sorry to say this. But the fact is, Vinay Katiyar, he lives in Faizabad. I think he lives in Ayodhya.
Exactly.
And for your
Yes.
information, for the information of Anila Singh, I also belong to Ayodhya, the 40 kilometers from Ayodhya. So I know a little bit of Ayodhya and I know a little bit of Vinay Katiyar. And I also know that Uma Bharti has made a statement yesterday कि राम किसी की बपौती नहीं है और मैं अयोध्या में हूँ, सरयू पे रहूंगी, मैं वहां पे नहीं जाऊंगी. You can understand the pain and the agony of a leader who has faced all kinds of things when the Ram movement was going on. And today she's denied even the permission to be there on the main function, and she herself is sitting somewhere else. So I think let's not talk about the political morality right now. Let's
Can
talk
I
about
come in
something
here for a
else.
moment,
And then Anila Singh, please listen to me. And secondly,
No, Anna.
Anila Singh, you should realize that probably you are new to the BJP, so you do not know about the RSS. And I can tell you, I can fax you, I can Google you, and I can send you all the messages where the Manmohan Singh has written about the nationalism. So you please stick to the nationalism, but RSS has moved. And it has also said, because nationalism is being defined by the Hitler and the Mussolini, Nazism and the fascism. So it has become a bad word. And so let's go somewhere else. So I think please don't, when you know...
Tanvi, allow me.
Anila, let me finish. Now. So my humble submission is that please have a little bit of understanding about RSS also.
Tanvi, can I please?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Ashutosh, first of all, you don't know about me very much. So do not try to portray that how long I have been with Bharatiya Janata Party or not, what is my ideology, and you can do some research work for me. I don't know what is happening today, Tanvi. Like Supriya also wants to work for me and Mr. Ashutosh also wants to work for me. But I'm not done this person. I can hire two people on the payroll. I cannot. And secondly, and most important thing here, Tanvi, most important thing here, for Supriya, for Ashutosh, and as well as for Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, that the invitation has gone from the side of Shri Ram Janambhoomi Tirath Kshetra Trust. Please try to understand this. Why are you bringing Bharatiya Janata Party? This means you believe
Now they're out.
This struggle
Now
is
they're out.
Bharatiya Janata Party. आप ये मान रहे हैं कि ये जो
Okay.
आपको ये भी नहीं पता.
As much as I enjoy this banter better than the yelling and name calling that happens, I must just step in for a minute and say that the statements just come out from Mr. L.K. Advani, and this is what agencies have put out. Saying that I feel humbled that during Ram Janmabhoomi movement, destiny made me perform a pivotal duty in the form of Ram Rath Yatra. In fact, I believe a comment is coming in. Let's listen into L.K. Advani.
Such dream close to my heart is now getting fulfilled. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi is laying the foundation for the construction of Shri Ram Mandir at Ayodhya, the birthplace of Shri Rama. It is indeed a historical and emotional day, not only for me, but for all Indians. A grand mandir for Sri Rama at Ram Janmabhoomi has been a desire and mission for the Bharatiya Janata Party. I feel humbled that during the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, destiny made me perform a pivotal duty in the form of the Ramaratha Yatra from Somnath to Ayodhya in 1990, which helped galvanize the aspirations, energies, and passions of its countless participants. On this auspicious occasion, I want to express my gratitude to the scores of saints, leaders, and people from India and the world over who made valuable contributions and sacrifices in the Rama Janmabhoomi movement. I am also very happy that due to the decisive verdict of the Supreme Court in November 2019, the construction of Sri Rama Mandir is getting started in an environment of tranquility. This will go a long way in strengthening the bond between Indians. Sri Ram occupies an esteemed place in India's cultural and civilizational heritage and is an embodiment of grace, dignity, and decorum. It is my belief that this temple will inspire all Indians to imbibe his virtues. It is also my belief that Sri Rama Mandir will represent India as a strong, prosperous, peaceful, and harmonious nation with justice for all and exclusion of none, so that we can truly usher in Ram Rajya.
Okay, so that's the statement still coming in, but since I'm running out of time, I quickly wanted a quick reaction now from Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari, well, this should at least settle the debate in some sense. Uma Bharati is there at the Saryu Ghat in Ayodhya. Here is L.K. Advani giving a statement, expressing only his happiness. And the fact that this is a historical day, absolutely no mention of any kind of discomfort for not being able to be there. Ghanshyam Tiwari and then the others.
And absolutely no mention of the Prime Minister, absolutely no mention of the people like Adityanath who are taking credit for the movement and not giving space and stage to people who pioneered this movement. So this is a moment of reminder to everyone who is boasting under the false leadership of this BJP, who usurps credit, be it work of the past government or work of their own leaders in the past. This is a reminder from Advani to Mr. Modi and to Mr. Amit Shah, to Adityanath, that this politics of usurping credit of the movement does not belong to them. This does not belong to Bharatiya Janata Party. And I think it's a very important reminder. It's also a message that is far powerful than any other leader, saying that this is a movement that strengthens India rather than weakens India, as BJP has been playing a politics on this that fractures India further rather than strengthens it. So I think Mr. L.K. Advani has played a pivotal role as a Pitama of Indian politics, speaking about the importance of this movement, which in a way that touches every Indian.
Can we just 5 seconds?
Okay, but I must say that his rivals, perhaps in the 80s and the 90s, didn't speak so kindly of him as you do and the opposition parties do today. Ghanshyam Tiwari, yes, Ashutosh, because you raised the point, I just want to read out that L.K. Advani did say that sometimes significant dreams take too long to come to fruition, but when realized, the wait becomes worthwhile. One such dream close to my heart is getting fulfilled. And then he went on to say, Prime Minister is laying the foundation of Ram Mandir. It's a historic and emotional day, not only for me, but all Indians. Yes, Ashutosh.
I think it is a politically loaded statement made by Mr. L.K. Advani. 2 points has to be noted. One, when he's talking about Ram is the embodiment of the grace, dignity and decorum. And then he also said the harmony and exclusion of none. So I think the message is very, very clearly from Mr. Lal Krishna Advani, and those who know a little bit of politics, they understand where he is hitting at and where he is hinting at.
And also the fact that he's had to come out and clarify that he played a pivotal
Okay,
role.
completely out of time. My apologies, but I have run out of time.
5 seconds.
Thank you so much for all of you for joining us. I'm sure some of you will be with us tomorrow as well. Anila Singh, I'll hope to see you tomorrow then. Through the day, we will be covering this entire event live, and we will be getting reactions from everybody, the conversations, the history, the movement, the politics, what's happening now. How is it going to be built? What is it going to look like? Experts will be joining us through the day tomorrow. As a foundation laying ceremony, the Bhumi Pujan takes place for the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Viewers, suffice to say, the politics today are still in many ways identity politics. So the variables, the factors have changed. The fault lines have perhaps now transformed into different issues. What was perhaps important in 80s and the 90s, what was the fulcrum of politics and the narrative for many political parties, Congress, RJD, Samajwadi Party, BJP, is perhaps not the same anymore. The new age politics still depends a lot on caste, religion, identity. Everybody may want to say they only want to talk about the common man and development. But one cannot deny the fact that even today in our country, politics still depends on who you are. When will that change is the big question. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.